King.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That, to those that are tuned in to the parliamentary stations and TV, was Chris Hipkins, and you can tell, Mr. Speaker, that he's only spent 2.5 years or a bit less in the House, because he did not recall the lack of direction and the stymied nature that the Labor government had over the last 3 years it was in power. And we want to realise that effectively Labor was in office when we had the best economic times in the last 30 years, if not the last 70 years. And we completely wasted those opportunities. And what happened at the last election in 2008, Mr. Speaker, was New Zealand shifted its confidence in behind a John Key-led government, and there we are today. But I'd like to start off and just dwell a fraction on the solidarity that was shown at the Hagley Park event in Christchurch. It was a privilege to be there, and there were some very enduring moments that were, that burnt into the minds and the hearts of all present. And you have to labour the thought a little bit, because when you were there, it was a memorable event. What really took my notice was the spontaneous applause, Mr. Speaker, for the urban search and rescue teams. It just burst out, and it happened on and on throughout the event, and one just had to sort of try and capture that moment. There is a population down there who are crying out for support from the whole nation, and the government is attuned to that, and I want to offer my congratulations to Jerry Brownlee and to David Carter and to the Cabinet as it wrestles with some incredible challenges. I had not been down to Christchurch even after the 4th of September earthquake. I went down after the 4th of March event there, and I visited my wife's brothers who have been quite affected. And when we drove back down Ferry Road and up Fitzgerald Avenue and down Beeley and out Papanui Road, one actually started to grasp, without actually seeing the real damage inside the CBD, of just the magnitude of the challenge facing the people in Christchurch and the nation of New Zealand and this government. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to dwell on the bright parts of the economy at the moment, and it's a side of the economy that has been our backbone for many, many years, the primary sector. And I think myself that it's opportune for us all to give credit to the primary sector, because it does produce and create jobs. There is a bright future for this nation so long as we have a robust and vibrant primary sector. The dairy industry is in good shape. It is working well. We need to applaud it. The sheep and the beef sector is in good shape. It's in the best shape it's been in 20 years. And when you look at the cost of an earthquake and the effect and the downturn of the domestic product of this country is 15%, it is understandable why we are having to show some consideration and care around the decisions made in the forthcoming budget. The aquaculture industry, Mr. Speaker, is poised to make a major contribution to this nation's economy, and this government shall unleash the potential by revenue and by opportunities of employment. And then we've only got to reflect back a bit further to the Canterbury water management strategy. The government here is actually getting itself in order. It's got the commissioners working overtime to ensure that we actually break through that impasse of debate and discussion and no activity. Mr. Speaker, those things that I have mentioned are the very plan that this government is going to unleash, and it is contrasted very clearly from that of the opposition, who in the very best of times continued talking, got nothing done, and actually stymied the very opportunities of growing an economy, building in capacity. So, Mr. Speaker, the people of New Zealand clearly have confidence in this government, and they will return them in 2011. Thank you very much.
The time for this debate has expired. I call on private and local order of the day number